to cope with those really bad days that we have, all of us collectively being really close to him after his loss?
Before he answers that question, I don't think it takes very much of anything to put yourself in his situation. My friends who have lost wives, last week, someone that I know and love diagnosed with terminal cancer. My wife and I have gone through cancer before. Wasn't diagnosed with terminal cancer, but we've walked down those roads before. Young children who are taken, entire families who are taken. We think about the Nealons in the music industry. And it doesn't take us long to just get in this space. And so I've meandered a lot today because I knew that we were coming to this space. Before he answers that question, we take a moment and be in this space and internalize this in whatever way you need to process this. My grief points and grief places may not and are not your grief places, but there are places wherein there's a hole. So hear that question that this gentleman has asked, and let's deal with this space.
All right, I'm really sorry for your loss, brother. It stinks. And that's one of the reasons I'm so glad that in 1 Corinthians 15, Paul writes, death is the last enemy. I am sick and tired of hearing people say, oh, death is just part of nature, so just accept it. No, I don't accept death. That's why we fund hospitals. That's why we do medicine, because we are against death and we're for life.
Man, he's cooking, but I'm not going to play the cooking music because I don't want to detract from the moment here. He is cooking when he says death is a part of this world. Genesis 3 and beyond, we see on the day that you eat this fruit, you will surely die. We've inherited death. We experience death. We expect death. In fact, when I'm going around and doing the Jesus Story Tour, this part of the story that I tell that is most gripping for people to recognize in this moment. The response that we have is not to retreat and to not fall in utter despair. The world is retreating. The world is falling into utter despair. The world is so desperately confused that they think that the remedy to give more life is to promote more death. That's why abortion and so many other things just become so nonsensical. Just rabid murder of children. And so when we're thinking about what we are for, as believers, we are for life. And he talks about, he starts ticking these things off. We are funding hospitals. We are doing different programs that aid and enhance life because we're not going to accept that death is the final answer. Like I was talking about earlier with C.S. Lewis, like I'm talking about now. I absolutely hate it when people live in the box. They live in the box, and that's all that there is. I'm trying to get people to think outside of the box, because outside of the box is the reality of the hope that we have in Christ Jesus. But if you reject Jesus, all you have is the box and then the reality of the wrath of God that is coming upon you because you wanted to live your life as though the box was the only thing that mattered. And Jesus is the only thing that mattered. And so we are not going to, Christians will not, I don't care what you do, lock us up, throw us in jail, try to delete our channels, do whatever you feel like you need to do. But Christians are not going to stop contending for life. I'm not here to decide or adjudicate who is a Christian, who is not a Christian. I can tell you most certainly what a Christian worldview is and what a Christian worldview is not. Christians are not ever going to stop contending for life. Do whatever you feel like you have to, because in our death we'll live. To live is Christ and to die is gain. May we be rewarded with such things because we've contended so earnestly for life. And so I love the fact that he couches as a part of the context of the answering of this question that we are not going to accept death. We are not just going to be like, somebody died. Que sera, sera. Hey, terminal cancer. Guess that's bad. Hey, what was the football score last night? 41-31? Oh, cool. No. That's not what we do in life. That's not the emotional range and capacity that God has given us. And far be it for us to trivialize our lives and just live on the surface level where so much of life is just presented to us as this is life. It is just surface. No, we went deep today.
And that's what Jesus said. I've come that you might have life and have it to the full.
John 10:10.
Second point. All right, wife and brother and family, you've heard the man say, I'm hurting. And at times I'm okay, but at other times I get really angry.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he's been honest, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's been honest with all of us. He's been vulnerable. So now we got to be patient with each other, right? We got to love each other through the hard times, and it's a hard time you're passing through.
Mm-hmm.
The most difficult day of my life was when my 7-year-old niece was knocked into an early grave in a horrible car accident, and I had to go out to Madison, Wisconsin, where my brother, who's a transplant surgeon at UW-Madison, was transplanting kidneys and livers. And I had to walk with him around a field behind his home in Madison, Wisconsin. And he's pouring out his heart to me about the death of his 7-year-old daughter. And if anybody thinks they got an easy answer for that question, they're nuts. The honest answer first is, I do not know why the babysitter didn't see the stop sign, why she went right through the stop sign, and a pickup truck at 55 miles an hour came careening down the road, smashing into the car, sending my 7-year-old niece into an early grave.
Wow.
I don't know why God allowed that to happen. And so therefore we got to be patient with each other. We got to love each other. We got to be committed to each other.
All right. I got to jump in. I want to be like Job's friends at the beginning of it and just sometimes not say anything. But I know that the camera is on, the red light is on, the time is ticking. I want us to keep this around an hour. The theology of I do not know is the theology that is going to save and help many, many